Oh, there's Jeff. How you doing, Jeff? So I can't hear you yet, but I can see you.
Hey, Laura.
Hey.
Ooh.
So I didn't get clear responses from people. Connor liked the reminder. Ed said he's a busy guy and it helps to get notification before 3 o'clock, even though these were scheduled a long time ago.
Yeah.
So,
That was my thoughts. Like, this is not a new idea or time.
yeah, there you go. So anyway, and we usually hear back from Jude. I'm not really expecting David. And Mike hasn't really been as active lately, so we'll see.
Right.
So anyway, we'll just hang out and well, it's actually 6:30, so we'll keep our fingers crossed.
Yep.
And I have my screen up, so if anybody's in the waiting room, I can easily see it. So I am going to text some people. Okay, so I've texted, and again, I don't really expect David, but I did text Jude and Connor and Michael. We haven't seen Michael an awful lot lately either.
No, we haven't.
So we'll see. So how are you doing?
I'm good.
And we're recorded, of course.
Yeah.
But keeping busy, I'm sure.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, I know. The question I will ask you while it's just you and me is, I think you had kind of a library, a new building open house coming for this weekend.
Yes.
Is that still on?
It's on for Saturday from noon till 4.
Saturday noon to 4. So I saw Butch and he said, I think that you wanted to do tours. And did he give you the go ahead for tours?
We have to do a few things to make sure that it's okay with him. So we're working on those things. We should be able to get
Okay. Okay. And so I was thinking, since we have a town board meeting tomorrow night, I'd say something about the library thing. What's the best way for me to phrase it?
We're doing it as a preview party, new building preview party, and it's also a year anniversary since we passed the bond.
Ah.
So, and we'll be giving tours, short tours. There'll be, it also coincides with the, we'll have animals there from the farm animals.
Farm animals.
Farm
Okay.
animals.
Oh, okay. So, and I think I was making notes, we didn't quite get everything. So it's a preview party, 1 year anniversary since past bond. There will be short tours. And there will be some farm animals. And I feel like I might have missed something that you said.
Pretty much that's it. So tours, preview party. It's all about letting the community see what we're going to be doing with the building before we have to start the demolition of the interior.
Right. Okay. So the other thing, I just happened to pass Butch in the parking lot, which is why I was talking to Butch. So the
Mhm.
other thing that he happened to mention is that you've got a whole bunch of furniture that you're offering to the town because you don't have a use for it. Is that,
That is accurate.
is it like desks or file cabinets or?
There's some file cabinets. It's a lot of it is like office modular stuff.
Okay.
You know, it's the biggest issue is you have to take it apart yourself.
Right. Although, well, somebody would have to take it apart themselves, but if we're paying for new stuff to be brought in, what the heck? Yeah, if we're paying for new stuff to get brought in, what the heck, you know, if you pay for somebody to take it apart and put it back together again, you
Right.
still have to pay somebody to put it together if you bought it new and it was like IKEA or
That's
something.
true too. Yeah,
So office modular, so desk chairs, you're kind of keeping the chairs.
we're keeping all the chairs.
Okay. Keeping all chairs. But modular desks.
Modular desks, yeah.
So what about file cabinets? Any file cabinets?
There are some file cabinets too,
Okay.
mostly the ones that match the modulars, if that makes
Okay.
any sense.
Yes. That match modulars. So if I were interested, and I'm also watching my clock, this is like the school bus at a certain point.
Mhm.
It's funny we're getting a chance to talk here, but at a certain point, we're just going to say we're not really meeting. So, which is a little unfortunate, but in any event, there's kind of a lot going on right now anyway. So anyway, so if I were to come on Saturday, but from noon to 4 and take a tour, would I be able to, because I am working on, I'm talking to the people that are upstairs in Cuomo who are going to be going in the addition. And we've
Mhm.
had conversations about furniture. So if I could take a peek at what you've got during the
Sure.
tour, then I'd be able to tell them.
Yeah, I mean, you'll definitely see the furniture that's available. The furniture that we're keeping is in the storage units, but the furniture that's available is in the library
Right. Okay.
or in the building.
Okay. Alrighty. So what I might do then is some of the people upstairs that might be getting new furniture, that might be a good time for them to take a tour.
Mhm.
Kind of a win-win. They get to see the new library, and they also get to see, because they might rather keep their own furniture, or they might rather use what you guys have. So when you look at modulars, like desks with drawers as well as like flat areas, like some desks are L-shaped, you got the drawers, but
Yep.
then you have like a table.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
cool,
That's exactly what it is.
cool. Very, very cool. So, alrighty.
They're good systems and they're fairly new. It's just we don't have any use for them.
We're sure, exactly. So you're giving the town first dibs, or are you trying to sell them, or are you just going to give the town first dibs?
Well, other people have looked at it. The town, you know, I think there might be some people that want them, but no one is like storming down the doors to grab them. So
But it's free to the first bidder, sounds like.
free to basically whoever will take it away. You got it.
So
I mean, that's
you don't
the
have,
problem. I mean, we got to take it away. So it's got to get out.
right.
Whether we pay someone to take it out or we give it away and someone takes it out themselves, that's probably the best approach.
Absolutely, I get it. Because everything costs money.
Yeah.
So, so if I can ask, as long as I left your meeting, but because you guys went into executive session, what did you decide with the fundraiser?
So we've hired her.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
And
You know, and if I
yeah, go ahead.
if I had had a wish, and I kind of alluded to this, but I didn't come out and say it, I wish that it was I wish that her pay was tied to the money that came in. And when I did say, wouldn't it make sense to have your money be a percentage of the money you bring in? And she said, well, that wouldn't really be ethical, because what if you get a $2 million, grant? She couldn't really walk off with, $100,000 of it. But it's some kind of sharing the risk. In a perfect world, there would have been a sharing of the risk, where if she brings in zero, you still owe her $30,000.
Yeah, I mean, that's always the risk. And, we'll see how it goes. I mean, it's the risk whenever you hire anybody, that they're going to do that. Whether they can do a good job or not. So I think we feel pretty okay with her being there. She's done, she's starting off pretty good. She's getting stuff done. So
Good, yeah.
it's we'll have to see how it goes. I mean, it's definitely, I'm used to people in that particular business doing a percentage, but that's not the way she wants to do the business. And I kind of get her point too. It's like, I don't know. I get the point that how do you equate what she does with what it's just a difficult process.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and she didn't offer to do it as a percentage. I mean, it was kind of take it or
Yeah.
leave it, her offer. And I know that Dorothea said, well, what about, would you take a lower amount? I know Marty was whispering to me, that's really bad. If you really want somebody to be bought in, you don't nickel and dime them. And then, so I don't know whether you negotiated the rate or whether you went with the.
we did. We actually did.
Oh, you
So,
did? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, well, I mean, there you go. Well, you're not made of money, so there you go. So anyway, so I'm watching my clock. This is like the school bus. I appreciate having a few minutes to talk with you. So the recording will very likely not go anywhere, because it wasn't a real meeting. Unless you want to talk about it, but everything about the housing. But the other thing that I will say that I was going to cover here is that the supervisor did ask the zoning revision committee to take up signs and also to take up STRs. I think the reward for good work is more work. And I think the idea was that that he thinks that we may be able to, we did a great job with scenic overlay. We did a great job for a number of things. And that there are some people that do want to work on signs, and there's some people that probably do want to work on STRs. And it can be driven because they weren't brought to completion. The STR task force, it existed, but it kind of came up with problems rather than they weren't moving on to solutions, is my translation of what I think happened. So we are looking to pick up 2 more things. I was looking anyway to only have one meeting a month for the next couple of months, because there's just stuff going on. So and I have some vacations coming up. I have some summertime away that are going to hit the date of this meeting. Plus, the campaigning between now and the end of June is a real thing. So I was looking to have us go for, there's Kitty. I was going to have us do 1 meeting a month for the next couple of months. So other than that, that's kind of what I was going to kind of cover and give people status, but all about the housing stuff. So
yeah, I mean, if we end up doing STR stuff, which I'd be fine doing, I actually think it's a very simple solution, and people just don't want to do the solution, which is that you only allow STRs and owner-occupied dwellings, period.
Well, right. Well,
if you do that, then you take away all of the short-term rentals that could be used for long-term rentals. They go back to being long-term rentals.
Right. Well, I guess the worry says somebody who, and we don't need to argue it here because we're not the task force, but I think the worry is somebody who has their second home and they really are here half the time, then it's empty when they're not here. And if they could get somebody in it when they're not here, then it's actually full and having more people in town for.
Yeah, so what I mean by dwelling is that you don't necessarily have to be in the dwelling to be able to rent it, but you have to, like, okay, here's the example is if you, okay, so right now, owner occupied under our current interpretation means that if you have an ADU on your property, you can STR the ADU.
Right.
That's not the same. That's not owner occupied dwelling. That's
okay.
Big difference. Has to be the place you actually physically live in at least half the year. period.
Okay.
So if it's so like, if I were to decide, like, I could, under that rule, and then if we do that, we don't even need a limit, because we've already
Mhm.
said that if it's a place you actually physically live half a year,
Mhm.
that inherently limits how much it's available for the people.
Right,
And you have
right,
to prove that you physically live there half the year. And that
right.
means if I, 5 years from now decide that I want to spend 2 months in Florida every year, I
Mhm.
could STR my house for the time that I'm in
Mhm.
Florida. And
Right,
there should be no
right.
reason I can't do that. And today I couldn't
Yeah.
do that under the existing law, because
Mhm.
I didn't happen to be lucky enough to get one of the licenses.
Mhm.
I don't like the license restriction, that the numbers restriction. To me, it's, when I first heard the law proposed, I thought it was dumb. I still think it's dumb. It's like
Yeah.
saying there's only a certain number of taxi licenses in New York City, and if you get a taxi license, you can make a ton of money. If you don't, you can't. And the same
Right.
thing with STRs. If you make, and we're also, by doing the limitation of the number of STRs, we're ensuring that people that get those licenses can charge more money, because there's a limited supply.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're creating a monopoly of those people that have those STR licenses.
Mhm.
I think there's a lot of issues with it. Hurley has a law that,
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yeah. Hi, Connor. Welcome. We're having kind of
Hey,
just a little one-on-one conversation here because we seem to be
I'm,
not having people join today. But Jeff and I have been
I,
going on a lot of topics of
I'm
interest to me. And anyway.
I'm very sorry about that. I had a business call that ran late. And please, don't let me interrupt, though I am here.
we're
So
just talking theoretically about STR laws. So
Well,
Uh,
and what I will say, because I just kind of repeat a couple of things. So we're not going to have an official meeting because we don't have 4 people. But what I was saying to Jeff was, well, first of all, the Housing Oversight Task Force law is available. 3 people from the Zoning Revision Committee put their name on a letter that gave input. The Zoning Revision Committee is not being asked as an entity to provide input. So in any event, we were just gonna, I was gonna have a Housing Oversight Task Force as a topic in case anybody wanted to talk about it. But really, it's at the point now where individuals are giving input. And in the case of 3 ZRC people, they put their names on one letter. That's fine. So the other thing is, you might be interested in the scenic overlay, Connor, where I asked Bill when that will be. When will we set the public hearing for scenic overlay law? And very likely at our next town board meeting, but it won't be at tonight's. It won't be at tomorrow night's town board meeting. So the belief is that we're going to be setting that, and I'm going to see if I can pull up my calendar here.
third week in May, or
Well, I think it's gonna be the 23rd because May is kind of a long month. If the third Tuesday is too early in the month, we set it at the 4th Tuesday. The reason being that we need the town board to approve paying bills. And if we approve paying bills too early in the month, bills come in later and they have to sit for a whole nother month. But this way, by moving the meeting back, so I believe it'll be the 23rd. So I think that the hope is that we're going to be setting the public hearing for scenic overlay on the 23rd, and the public hearing is always at least 2 weeks out. So that's the hope. It
okay,
won't be
okay.
at tomorrow's meeting, but the hope is that it'll be on the 23rd. So that's that.
Well,
And
that's
then,
good to hear.
yeah, and then the other piece of news I was sharing with Jeff is last month, Bill McKenna did ask that the Zoning Revision Committee take up the sign law and the STR law. So there hasn't really been a group working on the sign law. And as far as the STR law, are you at home, Connor? You at home? At one point you were traveling. Is that your house?
Yes, I'm
Yay,
back
okay.
as of Friday.
Yeah, cool. Well, welcome
Gone
home.
for a couple weeks.
Welcome home. So anyway, so for sign, Bill had asked people that want to be working on signs, so it'd be driven out of the Zoning Revision Committee. And I think the reason being, we brought things to closure, and the STR law, which exists, but it has not been brought to closure. The STR team seems to be listing issues, but they don't seem to be coming to closure. And we've proven we can, we've actually brought some pretty significant things to closure here. So I think that's why the supervisor asked us to do STRs and also signs.
I'm thrilled to hear it. I'm so thrilled to hear it.
And as far as the noise ordinance, we had talked about the noise ordinance. but Bill is actually driving that himself. He's got a group of people that want to be talking about noise. And the idea of it is that way back, I don't know how many years ago, the drum circle in the middle of town, and they had a group of concerned citizens on both sides of the issue, and they came up with a compromise solution that's been in place for, I don't even know how, a decade, I think. The drum circle thing has been in place for a while. So in any event, so Bill is taking on the noise himself. I don't know as we're going to get a tree law update. The reason being, first of all, it's not actually zoning. It's not in chapter 260. And secondly, there is a tree committee, and the tree committee is working on tree law update. So, oh, there we go. So in any event, so I think we're not going to be picking up either tree law or noise, but we are being asked to pick up STR and signs, which I think we can do something with. So that's and so I noticed that Jeff, you put a comment in the chat.
Well, well, I was also going to say that STR should probably take precedence over noise.
I agree. It should be the most important thing.
Oh, good point.
And if we do the same law as, I mean, we can look at Hurley's law, because I think it's a great law. I mean, it basically says only where you live and only while you're there.
Well, you say
now you may remember that was my whole platform in 2019 was.
I do remember that. I absolutely remember that. I knew that you'd appreciate that, Connor.
I would be thrilled to adjust that button, as it were.
Yeah. So as we look for volunteers, and I'm going to need to talk with the supervisor to find out who all, because some people on the current STR committee probably want to be on it. You know, we might want to have a realtor on it. We might want to have I don't know who all we do want on it, but we'll want to have a couple of people on it. So do you both have an interest in being on because I think that what this is going to be is, you know, just like Connor, you and Ed went off to the side and you worked on the law and then you brought it back. And same as actually the wellhead protection, and same as telecommunications, all those laws actually came from, those laws did not get generated from the main group. The laws got generated someplace else and brought to the main group and then finalized in the main group.
I think that's a really good, reasonable way to do it. I mean, I think this group works really well together. I mean, I don't think these documents are coming out, you know, just out of a 3-person, you know, not even a subcommittee, but a 3-person effort, you know, everyone's, you know, so yeah, let's start with a smaller group, keep it focused, and then we can bring it to the group and go through the crucible.
Yeah. Okay. Well, and I'm thinking too, I mean, the group it may be a 6 or 7 member group, because it won't be just the zoning revision committee. There are people that have been focused on housing and people that have been focused on this issue. So it may, I'm not sure who all will be in the group,
well,
but
I would like to be a part of that for sure, any early effort. And I would also like to see how Ed feels about it, because having Ed on the room early, I think is just a great thing in general. So I want to see how he feels.
Yeah. Okay. So Jeff, what is your feeling about? Would you want to have me,
Ed, and Jeff? That'd be pretty sweet. Start off with that.
Well, I'm kind of in it too. I mean, I would be
me, Ed, Jeff, and Laura.
So Jeff, do you have an interest, since you've got really good ideas? Do you have an interest in being part of the subgroup that works on STRs?
I absolutely do. I mean, I think the solution can be done really fast if we just start with the Hurley Town Code, which has already been adopted. It's already gone through the county planning. The county planning board said this is the best STR law in the county. Every town should use this law.
Wow.
I mean, it's what we want. It takes away the use of LTRs as STRs. It totally takes them away.
I'm sorry, it takes away LTRs as STRs?
Yes. I mean, every current short-term rental that used to be a long-term rental is no longer available to be a short-term rental under this new law. If this law passes. I
mean, I got to tell you, I hear about it all the time. You know, we know, I'm not here to name names or anything, but I know people who don't live out of town, have 2 properties up here alone that they don't occupy and just rent out.
Yeah,
So,
And-
how do you know if it's something's an STR today? How do you know it used to be an
doesn't matter.
LTR?
It doesn't matter. I'm saying that the practical practical effect of this law, the practical
Oh.
effect of this law is that you can no longer short-term rental those units that you used to long-term rental.
But no, but I think there is an answer to that. If I can, I mean, I
Yeah.
think, which is that these are in residential areas.
Yeah,
These are homes. These are homes that are zoned as residences in residential areas. They were made to be, if
Mhm.
not long-term rentals, long-term housing.
yeah.
Right.
And that's
Right.
also what we're talking. And that's also what we're talking about. It's not also just about rentals. I mean, I was about to curse, but if I knew more people up here who owned a home and just lived here the whole time, I'd feel better about this. But I don't. It's not even that. You know, it'd be nice to generate long-term rentals. But I mean, me and Meg went to Sunfrost the other day, and the guy was kind of shocked to see that we lived here full time.
Right.
Yeah.
That was a little. He was like, "Oh, you are. When will
Yeah.
you be back?" It's like, "No, we're here."
You know, this other part that, Connor's pointing out is people who bought housing just specifically to short-term rental it. It'll stop that too.
People definitely have done that, right? People have definitely done that. So, okay. All right. So I've been kind of watching my clock here because I know it's kind of like the school bus, right? We didn't have a quorum but Jeff and I were talking about library stuff. Jeff was giving me a great update on library. So, and then you joined kind of just in time, but since we don't have a quorum, we probably don't want to deep dive too much, but I appreciate knowing that you're volunteering for this. And I'll get with Bill and find out who else is he, if we were to round out the group, who else is he thinking should be part of the group to do it? But Jeff, your idea, and it's interesting to say, well, Hurley's, that the county thinks that Hurley's is the best, because in Woodstock might have had one first. I don't know, but we might want to look at them side by side and just make sure that we're not throwing out.
Let me just make one statement about the Woodstock STR law.
Sure.
It's not working.
Well, okay.
Nope. Not at all.
It's not
Okay.
working
Okay.
at all. The situation is no better than it was before the law passed.
Well, and a lot more people are screaming.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Alrighty. So,
And if it were working, we wouldn't be here to talking about it anymore. We'd be like happy.
So yeah. Okay. So kind of the other thing I was saying to Jeff before you joined is in the email that I sent that had the Zoom in it, for over May, June, July, August, I have us just having the ZRC meeting only the first, the first meeting of the month, which is the second Monday, and not the fourth Monday, because frankly, this month and next month the campaign is a real thing. I just can't do it. And then I do have some time away in July and August. But if we have an STR task force, we'll find a time that can meet. So maybe we'll get some, as Jeff says, we can hopefully do it quickly. And, so we'll try to find some times that we can get a move on that.
I'm definitely in favor of moving quickly and not overcomplicating this. I mean, I think, I'm sure a swap out for the town of Hurley zoning code sounds good to me. I just, let's take a look and see what we can do.
Yeah. Jeff, do you have a copy of that handy, or should we just go on town of Hurley and go look for it?
I gave you, I gave you the code section is 2210-33.
Oh, look at that. There you are. There it is.
It's a long law. I mean, because that's what I gave you was the essence of it, but everything else talks about what it means to be owner occupied, how they enforce it. There's a lot of stuff there that gets into more details, but basically the bottom line is if you don't occupy your house, then you cannot STR it, and you can only occupy it, you can only STR it when you are physically there. That's different than what I thought was going to be. So if you go away for a month or 2 months, you can't STR it while you're gone. I think we could modify that personally.
Yeah. And that is the one thing that I kind of think, though, is that, I kind of get that people say is, if they're really going to be in their second home, if it really is a second home and they're really going to be in it sometimes, but if there may be times when they're really not in it, and why not rent it out so you get more people in town at the restaurants, more people in town at the shops.
Right.
And it would be nice if there was some way that we could allow, but this business about they're never there and it's always a rental and it's a revolving door. And I know I've got some down the street from me where I know that they're never there and I know it's a revolving door. In fact, the owner's in Taiwan, for gosh sake, and it's a short-term rental.
It really, I mean, I just gotta tell you, Laura, I mean, I really think I'm sorry, I don't mean this in an offensive way, but I think your concern is really misplaced here. I think it's
Okay.
really
Well, I
misplaced.
think there are
Because
situations.
the truth is that there are people out there with, you know, who are my age with kids that they're trying to start families. And this is where like rubber meets the road for them. They don't have, they
Right.
can't just go live with their aunt or uncle down somewhere else. Like, and they can't find housing in the towns
Right.
where they were
Right.
either came up or find themselves in. And
Right.
that's the issue. So
Yep.
if these people want to rent their homes, they should do it long term. If they want to make it so that they can come there infrequently, I don't know, use the other law to build a second accessory dwelling that you can stay in when you're there and rent out part of the year. I don't know,
Right.
be creative. But right now there's a housing crisis, and
Right.
and I gotta tell you, the letter that got sent in, I mean, I talked to Urena about it. I'm still waiting on some replies on things like, why is the income threshold the same for qualification, the same as the rental cap? That might be a typo, that might be a mistake, but shouldn't it be 30%, not 80 to 120%? I mean, and even then, that median income, like, what about an average income? What's the average income around here? Because I'll tell you, I'm very fortunate to have a home and a mortgage and all this stuff, but I don't make that much money. I don't make as much money as would qualify for this affordable housing.
Right.
And I think it could be quite a bit lower.
Yeah. Okay.
So
All righty.
the one question I have, Connor, on I get what you're saying and totally appreciate what you're saying. So if someone, and this is a situation that my mom does, right? She lives in a place in Ithaca for 10 months of the year and then goes to Florida for 2 months a year. How would you feel about a limited, like 60-day max per calendar year that you can rent your home, short-term rent your home if you're not there, as long as you're there the rest of the time?
I would be more curious as to how that's enforceable in terms of, so like, if the town isn't willing to say collect the IP addresses of these like short-term rentals to make sure that, for example, even though it's really easy to do, you know, like that these aren't coming through VPNs or people aren't just emailing us from Taiwan saying like, oh yeah, I'll be there next week and putting us off or whatever, you know, to kind of get past. There's so many. And again,
I get that. So part of
I just remember that. I just want to say too, I'm not saying I have the answer to that, but I do know that there was a time when I first moved back here when it was easier to go on, even back then, Facebook, Craigslist, and find a 6-month lease on a place to say you could get through the winter and then find a place in the spring for another 6 months. So that's my immediate, I guess, answer. I don't mean to clap back or anything.
No. As far as enforcement goes, there are Granicus is the system that the county is using, but they're using one module of Granicus. It does what you said. It basically looks at every short-term rental site in every day and tracks which ones are used, which ones are not used, what addresses are used. And if there's additional modules beyond what the county uses that we can buy, and hopefully the county will buy them for us, they'll tell us exactly how many days a short-term rental is being used.
Yeah.
And that's critical to have to, you have to know that. The other part of these additional modules.
So how do they know? So you get this Monicus thing. How does Monicus know?
They scan the web every day.
Oh, and it's looking for ads for short-term rentals?
It's looking for ads for short-term rentals.
Okay. Okay.
And they know exactly
it's very effective. That's what the county uses, right? No,
yeah,
are they not using that?
So there's more pieces to it than what the county uses. The county uses a very simple module, the very beginning module that does the scan.
I believe it.
But then there are additional modules that will actually, like right now, we have to ask the county to get the data. And the county then has to get the data from Granicus to get it back to us. And it's a cumbersome process. Additional modules will have like a push technology where they will alert a code enforcement officer that said, hey, this person's gone beyond the limit. So those kinds of things are things that we can add to this as an enforcement ability for this. And they do this throughout the country. And people that use the system know exactly how many people are renting, where they're renting, how many days they're renting, and they can do enforcement that way.
And let me tell you something. A lot of people are really upset about this school closing. Like I'm hearing about it all the time. If we can move swiftly on this and propose this as some sort of stopgap to try to, I guess, I don't know, not even just to, I guess it's not, I don't want to sound naive, but I mean, something to start to address this concern to get people
Well, it's the
back.
same problem, right? It's the same problem is that kids, young families with kids can't afford to live here.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening. And if the people that do have kids that can afford to live here have enough money to send them to the Woodstock Day School or, you know, some boarding school someplace. I mean, it's not.
I can't hear you all of a sudden. Everyone,
Sorry.
I can hear you, Jeff. So it's something that Connor has, I think.
can you guys hear me?
I can hear you.
Yes, yes. Can you hear us?
Now I can.
Oh,
Okay.
good. Okay.
Yeah, I agree with you that if we can solve this problem and have young families be able to move back soon, I think that'll make a huge difference. You know,
And this, I feel like this is a good start. It's a part of the puzzle.
it's a part of the problem.
Right.
You know, I looked at, so it's online, I saw the enrollment statistics for on tour. It's like, it is scary. It is really scary how many kids they've lost.
Mhm.
You know,
I believe it.
they're going to be below 1,000 kids in the next couple of years.
Wow.
It's going. And
So do we, I guess we don't know because the school board hasn't decided yet, but is it, do we think there's no hope of keeping Woodstock School open, or we're just guessing right now?
I believe the plan, I'm not positive, I believe the plan is to, well, to close Phoenicia within a year or two, to then I think they have to do some work at Bennett in order to make it large enough to accommodate the entire elementary school population. Once they do that, then they'll close Woodstock.
And then everything will just be at Bennett in the high school.
Yeah, and it'll be a one campus.
Yeah. Huh. Well, it is what it is. My stepkids all went through sixth grade at West Hurley, so that's been going for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not in the district, so I really don't feel like I have a whole lot to say about it. I don't pay taxes to that district. I pay them to the other district.
Right, Kingston.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Alrighty. So is there more that we all, so I'll write up meeting notes because we met, even though it's not an official meeting, but actually it was extremely helpful meeting. And Connor was very helpful that you joined because you both have been excellent. It was great that Jeff joined right away too, because we got some library stuff figured out. At least I learned some things about the library. Jeff already knew them. But anyway, so I appreciate that we've got kind of a thought on STR. And I totally like, Connor, what you said, let's do STRs first. And Jeff, I totally like what you said about let's go look at the Hurley law, because, and your point's well taken that ours doesn't seem to be working. So, so is there more that we wanted to talk about here?
I think that's it.
No,
Yeah.
I just,
No.
You first, Jeff.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I just really do want to hear back as soon as we know when we can get the rubber, when we can move on this STR task force. I want to
Excellent.
see that happen.
Excellent. Yep. Okay. So I'll let you know as soon as I know. Oh, I have to do show and tell. I don't know if you can see my azaleas in the back.
Oh, I
It's
can.
very nice.
Very, very attractive.
This is the prettiest time of year for my yard. The azaleas just doing their thing, and you know, I get to June and there's nothing. Everything's just green in June, but you know, in May the azaleas are doing their thing at the moment. So
So
What time
Connor, I'm not sure if
starts
you've
on that?
heard, but if you're available Saturday noon to 4, there's tours of the new, of what will be the new library building.
Oh, tours, you said?
Tours, yep. And there'll
Oh,
be farm
hold
animals
on.
there and music and yeah,
Who's playing?
I don't know. It's starting off with the,
My,
You should
starting
have
off
asked
with
the mountain, what is your band, kind of the mountain?
oh, that band broke up a while ago. The new band is Drip.
Drip. Oh, look at that. Got the hat. And
Yeah.
it's a one syllable, so it's easier to, yeah, drip. Cool. How
Yeah.
many people are in your drip band?
6.
Cool.
we're gonna start,
It's a
the
big
music's,
outfit.
the music starts with the kids, the Rock Academy. And then we have
Oh, yeah?
others beyond that, yep. Yeah.
Nice. What time do they
that is-
start?
The Rock Academy will be starting around noon,
Cool.
All right. And so as you said, 12 to 4?
12 to 4, yeah. And we'll have, so I don't know if you guys remember the farm animals that came to the library last year. They're coming back.
Now you've really,
Yes.
you really got the hook in.
Yeah.
So now Connor's gonna come.
Yeah. No, listen, I'm a musician, but lead with the animals next time.
So there you go. Is it like a petting zoo thing, or is
Yeah,
it
it's a petting
like
zoo thing. It's a petting zoo thing.
sheep or goats or elephants
There'll
or?
be sheep. I'm not sure. There's going to be rabbits. There's going to be a llama. There's going to be
Oh,
a pig. There's going to be, I'm not sure what all they're going to have.
so do they all live nearby?
It's
Yeah,
for
like
a farm. It's like this person's business to take these animals around. It's intended for kids.
Okay, cool.
It's
Very-
intended
very
for young
cool.
kids to have, the ability to pet rabbits.
Yeah, cool. Very, very cool. So nice. So sounds good. So anything else while we don't have to officially adjourn because we didn't officially start. So anything anybody else wants to cover?
No, I'm very excited. Looking forward to seeing more.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Oh, Jeff, one more real quick question. So you never got back to me to ask me anything traffic wise for Saturday. So you're figuring traffic's not an issue. I don't need to do anything.
We went to we had a meeting with the safety committee last week. So we're not parking. We're trying to avoid people parking on Dixon Ave. So that took
Okay.
away a lot of the issues around the traffic issue. So we got stuff in the highway department to say no parking along Dixon Ave kind of thing. We're using our parking lot, which is relatively decent sized.
Right.
And we're also encouraging people to go down to Rick Volt's field to park there.
Which is an easy walk, really.
Easy walk. So we're trying to, as long as we're not getting people to park on the road, I think that was the big thing.
Cool. Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Just want to make sure that was like a little loose end. So if I had to do there, I just wanted to know. So.
Yep,
Cool.
we're good. Thank you.
All right. Okay. So sounds good, and I'm sure I'll see you Saturday. Sounds like a great thing. And yay. So we'll all talk soon. And thank you for your interest in the STR law, because it'll be great to get that moving. This committee really has done in our own little way. We've really got some really big things done. So
yeah,
very cool.
Great.
All right.
Love it. Talk to you soon.
Bye.